Welcome to the Recycle Podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts,
Dr. LaFonya Jones,
Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapist.
What we will be is down to earth, informative, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up the volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to Session 39, Movie Mental Breakdown, Beyond the Lights, 2014.
Okay, so this movie, guys, is starring, and I'm going to apologize now if I butcher anybody's name, but you got to blame it on the Texan in me. Gugu Mbatha-Raw plays Noni. Nate Parker plays Kaz. Minnie Driver plays Macy Jean. Machine Gun Kelly plays Kid Culprit. Danny Glover plays Kaz's father, Captain Noni. And then a young Noni is played by India Jean-Jacques. Okay, so.
Yeah, I watched this movie so many times before now that my DVD was scratched. Like it kept doing the little trying to in my laptop because I don't have a DVD player anymore.
That's hilarious. I was upset that it was no longer on Netflix. So then I had to pay for it.
I found the movie, and then my best friend will say, "Oh, I'm just going to get it." I got the movie right there. I was like, okay, do what you want to do. It don't matter.
Yeah. This movie is, before we kind of jump into the breakdown, this one's a funny one for me because it's like a slow, fast-paced movie.
Slow, fast-paced? Go ahead, go ahead and confuse them some.
I know, because, I mean, so, you know, it's kind of like what we were talking about a little bit earlier. There's a lot happening in this movie, but it does not move at a, like, fast pace.
The things that's happening don't move the movie forward.
Like it's a very kind of slow burn, but there's a lot happening. So it's an interesting.
I agree.
It's
with
an
that.
interesting film in that kind of way.
Yeah,
still good though.
Yeah.
So we open in 1998.
Yeah, in London.
In London, Brixton. Don't laugh at my British accent. Where Macy, the mother, is on her way trying to get Noni's hair done because she has a talent show the next day. Mind you, I'm like, why you wait till
at night,
8 p.m. at night or whatever it was to go get your daughter's hair done?
And why is she this old and you still don't know how to do her hair?
Because her mother is white.
I know, but
and
she's this
she
old.
seems like she has no black friends that taught her how to take care of her black daughter's hair. Because, you know, she later unpacks that, you know, there was no for real relationship with, you know, Noni's father. So it ain't like she could have went to their family.
Yeah, because the beautician asked her, "What? No grandmother?"
Nope.
Right.
Just me.
No aunties, nothing. So mom is driving around. She gets to a salon that is in the process of closing. And the hairdresser's like, you know, we close.
Today is my birthday.
And I'm trying to go be with my man. Like, why are you pressing me, lady? But of course, as is expected, you know, she gives in and here's the mom's plight and, you know, that she's struggling and helps her out with trying to do her daughter's hair. One of the things that kind of, I wasn't quite sure if they meant this to come out this way or if this just was the way it was acted, but it almost had a sense of like, I don't know if there was like a sense of entitlement there, like the way her urgency came through towards the hairdresser to me. I mean, there was just like a little twinge of something there.
I feel like it was more so that rough shell that you see single mothers put up. And it's like, I'm going to get this done by any means necessary. And sometimes it comes out very like, I'm going to get, you know, it's mine. And so that's what I picked up from it. But that also could be from my perspective, having grown up in a single mother home.
I think I can see both of you ladies' point, because it does come off as a air. But now that you said that, Dr. Wall, I'm like, oh, because at that time she was, I guess, kind of desperate, because I mean the talent show was tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I can see both of you all's point.
Yeah, like I definitely picked up on the desperation. I think that was, you know, pretty clear by the way she ran in there. But then it was like, but no, like I need you to, like I need you to help me.
I need you to drop your plans.
Yeah, like I heard what you said, but like,
yeah,
I need you to help me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So of course, hairdresser does, because you know, who knows, rescuer, you know, kind of complex or whatnot, or just super, you know, good Samaritan.
I mean, she's a hairdresser.
So
Yeah,
that
she
makes
could have
sense.
she could have looked at the little girl and was like, you know what, this baby head look a mess. Let me do her hair, because you
they
know how
did
we
do a good job though of making it look, you know, how us curly hair girls, if you don't get all the way to the middle.
Oh, and they said it. Oh, you didn't even get to comb all the way. I can never, because, ma'am, you didn't stop combing her hair dry. Put some water on it and some moisturizer.
Yes,
Yes.
Lord.
and some detangling something.
And from the ends to the root. Don't just put that comb in the roots.
I think mom probably would have fared better if this movie would have taken place like circa 2014, like when it was subsequent, like as she got older, if she would have been that age in 2014, because you know the natural hair movement kind of really picked up some serious steam around 2013-ish. So there was a lot of information coming out about how to take care of naturally curly hair. So she probably would have fared a little bit better.
Versus
you know, the things of,
98.
YouTube and stuff existed later on versus in 98. So I get it. You just didn't have access to that kind of information just, you know, readily at hand. But yeah, I digress. So we go to the talent show and young Noni sings a very mature song.
Very.
Which is her life, really.
I thought that same thing when I started listening to the words of the song. I was like, she's actually singing her life out.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the song she's singing is Blackbird by
Nina Simone.
I almost said Anika Noni. And I was like, no, it's too many going on.
I mean, you know.
So thank you for that save there. But she's singing the song Blackbird, which I agree with you ladies. I think it was a description of how the movie is going to play out. You know, it's kind of foreshadowing for what will happen or what has likely already happened to her to some extent.
The one part, well, not one part, but the part that I was confused by is she sung the song, you know, everybody clapped, her mom clapped, and then her mom motioned her to come. She went and hugged her mom and was like, you did so good. But then once we get to that part, but then at the end of that little section, it's like, well, why did you tell her to throw the trophy away? She did real good. But we get to that.
Well, just to kind of comment on what you're saying, I think it's because the judging hadn't happened at that time. So based off mom's perception, she's probably thinking, oh yeah, she's a slam dunk, she's gonna win. But then the judging comes and she wins second place, which I hate for that term, first runner up. Just say second place. But so she gets second place, which when I was looking at it, it made me very sad because she was excited. Like she was very proud of, you know, placing where she did and getting her trophy, and then mom just flipped her lid.
Like that was so
yes,
that was so embarrassing the way she did that.
And she's teaching her that there's no other position than number one.
You have to
and
be
there's
perfect.
Multiple positions. Like at the end of the day, yes, you always want to strive for excellence, but you know, prime example, the battle that fans go through between a Beyonce and a Rihanna, You know, both of them bomb. Why we can't like both of them? Why it's got to be either or? You have to realize that there's more to life than only being number one.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I wrote in my notes. I said, man, she just started her path for perfectionism and overachieving.
And not feeling like she's good enough.
Like that. And it's so hard because mom is so oblivious to that's the groundwork she's laying for her child.
Especially because what she did was she minimized the little girl hula hooping. And when I was watching that section, I said, she just minimized the little girl hula hooping and just said, you couldn't even beat this girl hula hooping.
She made it be about Noni instead of the fact that, okay, yeah, Noni sang her butt off. Little Noni sang her butt off. But Noni's still raw. Like, she did not start off good. If we talking about we gonna judge her, she did not start off good. She was super nervous. Little tap dancing, babe, she got out there and was getting it.
She was.
Like, she was...
not the tap noise.
Yeah, she was like, sugar, 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 sugar. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, no, the tap dancing girl deserved to win in this contest. There were some things that Noni needed to work on. Her stage presence, the song, like,
there was a lot there.
You got to be realistic. If you're going to really be a stage mom or a momager, don't be out here blowing smoke.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be real about it. So that you can give her some real critiques. Oh, okay. Next time, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to do this. This is how you need to position. Maybe you need to move, take the mic off the stand a little bit and walk the stage or something. You know what I mean? And not just, and when you do that, you're not criticizing her to make her think she has to be perfect, but you allow her to understand there is room for improvement.
Well, that's because there's a difference between feedback and criticism.
Right.
You know, or constructive criticism versus degrading. You know, so what you're talking about is constructive criticism, because then it's not a character assassination.
Right.
It's about behavior. And a lot of times people can understand criticism if we're talking about behaviors. But when you start talking about, well, you couldn't even beat this girl and she had to count her steps. Or you know what I'm saying? Or you don't want to be a winner. You're okay with being, you know, in second place.
Girl.
That part right there crushed me so bad every time I see this movie. Because that, like, you just crushed this little girl dream.
And you could see it all over her face.
Yes.
That she was like, well, dang.
Because she said, well, why?
The why. Socratic question.
I was thinking, I thought the same thing. I was like, look at her critical thinking.
Yeah, I can appreciate that scene because it also shows how you can break your child's spirit, and we've talked about that several times on different sessions, and then she becomes a totally different person. She's no longer open. She's people pleasing. She's like, okay, well, whatever you say, mom, whatever you, if you are in charge, so I'm going to follow through with what you think we should do, to the point of, you know, at the end of that particular scene, mom said, throw it in the garbage. She didn't throw it in the garbage because I don't think
throw it down or something.
Yeah, she broke it, throw it on the ground, and the trophy don't mean anything.
Yeah. And then mom proceeded to just get in the car.
Yeah, like
Just
she
left
didn't just
You didn't console her. You didn't reassure her. You were so upset that you didn't get what you wanted that you completely neglected your child.
They didn't even win nothing but a trophy. It wasn't like when you watch the other old school movies with like Michael Jackson, they getting prizes,
right,
like,
or
a
record
trophy.
deal or something. It's
know?
a trophy.
Yeah.
Bragging rights for next year, I guess. I don't know.
But she still got it. But the thing is, she's still placed
Right.
High.
right.
For this to be her first one.
Exactly.
Wow.
And for her to be singing such a mature song.
Right. Because I was like, that's a deep song to come out and
Yeah.
for y'all. Okay.
And for anybody that hasn't heard this song, the two lines that always stand out is that talking about her mom is lonely, as in personification of loneliness, and then her father is the personification of pain. And that's exactly what
Noni's
Noni
life.
is coming from. And nobody is checking for the baby.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So sad. Then we get a weird little cutscene over to a music video.
I was like, okay, body roll.
Okay, which, you know, can be a little jarring given how intense the previous scene was. And then we jump straight into like video vixen.
Crotch shots.
Yeah. But so in hindsight, I wish I would have paid more attention to the lyrics in the video that was going on.
Oh, it's talking about straight up sex, talking about how
I kind of figured that
she gonna do him or
Get naked.
Like it's very much
seductive.
not who Noni is. Because, we're going off a little girl Noni. It's not who she is. So she's transformed into
what her
a
mama wanted her to
superstar.
do. Yeah.
And I think this wasn't the BET. It was just regular.
No, this was
was the first.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was the first award, but it was.
No, it was the first one, but I just couldn't remember do you remember what it wasn't video. It was something music.
It was some sort of music award show or
Yeah.
something, but I don't
The
know if
Billboard.
they ever. Oh, was it?
Billboard?
Okay.
Billboard. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is such I was thinking this is a throwback to a lot of music videos because it's very like late 90s,
I was
early
just about to say that.
2000-esque.
The weird angles, the
The lighting, but
tube tops.
that too. Yeah, they definitely did. The wardrobe, I don't know if it quite fit for the time that they were trying to say the video was for, but I'm not a filmmaker. But I definitely thought that this was kind of the beginnings of mom trying to make her perfect, or when beginnings of her being in the industry, let me say that, of that perfection and like you need to fit whatever it is that they need.
Yeah.
Let me tug this little thing here and let me pull and hike this up there because you're not fitting the image that we need you to fit in order for you to get to the success level that I want you to be at.
And what's ironic is while she was walking down the hallway before her mom started tugging on her clothes, Shaka Khan says that she's doing a really good job. She thinks she's doing good. And
She liked her
hair or something like that. And Noni was so shocked and starstruck she didn't even say anything. But her silence is so loud throughout this entire movie because she never uses her voice the way she's intended to.
Not until the very end. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, they win the award for, I can't remember what it was. Something about best new something or other. And then they are kind of trying to wind down and get to, I guess, an after party or whatnot. Like they're transitioning from the award show to the next thing.
Yeah. They went to the her hotel room.
Well, before we get to that, I enjoyed the fact that when she got out of the SUV, she left the trophy.
Yeah,
because it shows that still doesn't matter to her because of what mom has said, and she just picks it up like it's a towel or something, just walks on into the.
And I had a different view. I mean, now that you say it, I can see that, but I had a different view. I was like, this is not. It wasn't that she wasn't appreciative, but she didn't. She won the award on a song that she didn't even want to do, video that she didn't want to do. Like that's not even a style of music that she wants to be in. She wants to be in the Nina Simone type of music or whatnot. And so it's like, yeah, okay, I want it, but I done forgot about it now.
I mean, it's sad to me because that's one of the things that she wanted. She was in this talent show when she was younger and she valued the trophy then because it was a representation of her accomplishment. Mom made her break it. And now she gets a for real one, a top award.
Yeah.
She just leave it on the floor. It's literally laying in
the seat,
seat or whatever. So
yeah, she was gone. When she was in the SUV, one of the things that I was thinking about was she's so detached. Like you can see she is not vested or even present in what's going on. It was kind of like she's just going through the motions and allowing life to happen to her.
Shell.
Yeah, because I mean, even before the limo, like I could not stand her relationship with Kid Culprit. That was just disgusting.
See, I
to
feel
me.
like at this point you don't really know what the relationship is.
I just hated his arm being around her.
I get it, because he do look a little gangly. You know what I mean? He just look real like he need to eat some soul food. But it it screams of like an industry relationship.
Yeah.
They don't really seem like they together like that. It's like, okay, he's
Because
driving
they did
off
a
in
video.
his whatever car he has. She getting in the SUV. Like, if y'all a real couple and y'all just won, why y'all not going nowhere together? Like, it's kind of
I think
suspect.
just his whole demeanor to me was just disgusting. Because that keep it tight, boy, get away from me. I can't stand it.
it's a lot of misogyny in him, his character.
And his character, yeah,
It
definitely.
is. I just,
But I will say he played it well.
He
You know,
did.
if that's what they wanted him to do, if that was the way they wanted him to portray Kid Culprit.
it's
My
a
head
reason
keeps
why
wanting
he
to say
was
Kid Cudi. Like, that's what my head keeps wanting
I
to say.
keep about to call him Machine Gun Kelly. I was like, oh, that's his real name. Okay.
But if that's the way they wanted him to be in the film, then he did a fantastic job portraying that kind of grimy,
because he did disgust
like you said,
me.
misogynistic character.
Yeah.
Straight up rapper.
So we get to the hotel,
Yeah.
and
Officer Fine is there.
Officer Nicole.
Nicole. So Officer Nicole, or Kaz, as we will learn later, is his first name.
Kazam.
Or Kazam, really. So they arrive at her hotel room, and she tells him, like, don't let nobody in here. So this also includes, I don't know if this was her stylist and makeup
think
artist
so.
or who they
Stylist and
these
makeup artist.
Yeah.
So
Who rode with her in the car?
Yeah, she said don't let nobody in behind me.
But I mean, that would have been suspect to me. Number one, I've been like,
I'd have been like, but like, you mean like them?
Right. Like, who else coming behind?
Right. But he did what she said.
Yeah.
And did not let them in. So then, they go off. No, mom shows up and she's like, what's going on? Like, why are y'all not getting her ready? And then they tell her, like, well, he won't let us in the room. So she sends them off to do something. So mom is like, nah, you gonna let me in here. Like, let me in. And he does, of course. And then, boom, we see Noni sitting on the edge of the balcony, feet dangling off the side.
about to risk it all.
About to risk it all.
Yeah.
And Officer Kaz comes in and does, what you would expect a police officer to do,
He did a really good job.
Yeah.
He did.
Talk to the person, support them, encourage them to, kind of come off of what they were doing. But she was having none of that.
None.
She did not want to be here anymore.
Because she was out of there. If he wouldn't have got to that rail in time, she was gone.
Yeah.
Because she actually did jump.
Yes.
He caught her.
He caught her. Yes.
But I was just like, oh, that dead look that she had in her eyes. I like, Gugu, the actress, you better act
Yeah,
with
because
your eyeballs.
she made sure she made that body heavy because she wanted him to let her go.
Mm-hmm.
I was
She
like,
did.
you sure know how to make somebody drop you.
And when she thought about it, you know what I mean? And that expression on her face, and she's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try.
Well, I think it only came.
After he said, I see you.
Yeah.
Then it was like, okay, well,
And let me see what you see.
right.
Girl,
But
in the
other
way,
than that,
Yes.
now I know this ain't appropriate for this scene, but when he pulled her back over that rail and they were sitting there looking at each other, I said,
Yeah.
where is mine at? Don't nobody want to look at me in my eyes and love me? I ain't gonna jump off the building. I said, come on, Cass.
I know. I child, when I saw that, I was like, I wouldn't have stopped looking at you either, Officer Fine.
but he did pull her back over. I was just thinking, man, that man, if that was real, like in real life, I was like, dang, that man's strong.
I know.
Like, you caught her with one, like, you, boom.
And see, I almost feel like that ain't how that would have happened, because y'all know we be having on too much lotion.
And he was probably already sweating.
Sweating, and then she greased down.
Yeah.
Because they do that when you be performing and
yeah.
stuff like that. But I was like, okay, well, we don't see this eye connection.
But what I did appreciate about that scene was that I do think that it was real when he said, I see you.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful in that was probably the first time in her entire life that she really felt like somebody observed her in truth.
Yeah. Versus it being what they can get from her.
And when I say the mama pissed me off in this whole
Oh
scene,
my God.
I was about to fight her the whole movie.
Because
except
my
for the last
thing
couple
is,
minutes.
You done told him to get her ready, mother.
Even
did
before
you-
Before
that,
then, I was like, you're like, I don't have children. So let me go ahead and put that caveat out there. So this is my interpretation of what I would do if I had a child. I would have been screaming my head off. I would have been, I would have,
It would have been no way I would have been in the hotel room. I would
Right.
have been on the balcony too.
like me as a therapist, how I would respond as a clinician is very different. But as a parent, this is my child. I would have gone into instant
Protection
protection
survival,
mode, mama bear
saver.
mode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so the fact that mom was so detached from the scene, like there was no like, make okay, you know, baby. There was nothing like, okay, no baby,
No
sweet. There
comfort,
was
nothing.
nothing.
she was in manager mode the whole time.
Yep.
The part that got under my skin in this scene was more so once she hurried up and picked her up and disconnected them and then closed the curtain on his face. So he, the whole time all of this is going on, when they getting ready to get her dressed and she decompressing, this man is still on the balcony of
Trying to
the
process.
hotel room, but you done closed him completely out because you don't want this story, like, you know, it's not for pure motives.
Yeah.
And the second part, that was a part that I did not like, was the fact that she had his father to come out there and tell him the lie that they was getting ready to tell.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Because
and
he's obviously a high up ranking police officer of his father.
Yeah. And I
And paid him.
really hated that.
And they wasn't it like $15,000?
10.
$10,000 they got paid to not tell what really happened.
and
And did it.
yeah,
And he was mad the whole
Yeah.
time. He was mad. And right after that, they ended up having a press conference because, of course, people saw her dangling from a balcony because it's
But
L.A. Yeah,
I
L.A.
think so. But before we even get to that, when she's in the hotel room and they're getting her
And
dressed,
she's still
And
dead in the eyes.
she's still dead in the
Yeah.
eyes, and mom is like, "Tell me that you didn't do this. Like this is not."
that was
that was after.
That was after the press conference.
because she was taking her shoes off.
Yeah.
Oh, that was after. Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking it was before. Okay, because I was thinking it was when they were getting dressed to go down to the
She was getting
press conference.
she was getting undressed.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
But yeah, they end up having a press conference, and they, you know, the stereotypical being PC and all that kind of stuff happens. But my problem is that how jacked up do you gotta be to be able to joke about your own life the way she did? And she was like, thanks to Officer Nicole, you know, even with this little junk, this extra junk I got in the back. Now, mind you, she real skinny. She ain't got no junk. She cute shape, but she ain't got no junk.
Irritated me too.
But
yes, I
it was
do.
just so.
And then kissed him on the cheek.
Kissed him on the cheek, and of course he gave his police statement. But you can see he's struggling with having to tell this lie to the world.
I didn't even understand why they even brought. Like, what was the point of bringing them out?
Official. For it to be an official statement, because this is the beginning of her career.
Yeah, because if
Gotcha.
they needed to confirm.
You know, if this was Beyonce, she'd been like, "Well, y'all think what y'all want to think. I don't really care."
True.
But at the beginning,
Yeah, and I hated that for him, you know. But what I did like is that although he was, well, no, he wasn't technically dishonest in what he said.
no, he said the truth.
He said the truth because he kept it short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah.
I came up. She
This is what she
seemed
doing?
intoxicated. She went over.
I grabbed her.
I grabbed her.
But you know what? When I was watching it, because she kind of already seemed like she knew what she was going to say. They all did, I guess. I was wondering if that was her ploy. Like, because when she was walking down the hall to her room, she kind of like stumbled like she was drunk. And we didn't see them, none of them drink. But did she
You saw
actually
her
drink?
drink?
Did she?
She had a whole bottle of champagne.
I didn't think it was open.
Kid boy, culprit, he gave her that bottle of champagne.
Oh, I didn't
And
think they
then
opened it. Okay.
She drank it on the ride home. It's like, oh, our girl is imbibing or whatever they said. So yeah,
okay.
she don't ever drink. And her
Right.
mom later talks about it when she's taking
That's
her
right,
she
shoes
did.
off. Even though it's not appropriate, I do like the fact that he called her out once they got into the holding
Oh,
room.
yeah.
And
He did.
because she was
Ooh, I
still
was like,
being
ooh, that's a
flippant.
punch.
Yeah,
Ooh.
she was still being flippant about it and joking and putting on that sexuality and stuff like that. And I can't remember what actually she said.
She
but
said, "What do you see?"
Yeah,
And
she said you were yelling, "I see you." So what do you see?
Nothing.
Whew,
And he walked off. I said, "Oh,
I said that hit.
Crunch your face.
I said that knocked the wind out of me.
Okay, crunch your face.
She had them little puppy dog eyes going because he was like, I'm not fit to play this game with you. Because he was like, don't do that.
Because she was saying, so what you gonna do with your 15 minutes?
Which I thought was so disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Like this man, like one, you know that your mama got this man to lie. I mean, he didn't technically lie, but you put on a show for the media. And he literally, like, not too many times can you say literally and it's actually literally. He literally saved your life. This man grabbed you, catched you, actually, caught you off the side of a building. And you're going to be disrespectful to him and the emotional potential trauma that this puts this man through, you know, that's a lot. Who cares that he's a police officer and that's his job?
Right, as her mom said.
Right. But, you know, this man, he did not have to do that.
Nope. It's the minimization for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for that throwback, Dr. Wall. But it was, agree with both you ladies. It was so flippant and dismissive. It was dismissive of his position as a police officer and dismissive of him as a man.
It's those defense mechanisms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man. So then I was like, man, this mom is a piece of work.
Because when they got back in that room and she said, and then she checked on her, I said, what kind of tomfoolery is this?
She didn't check on her. She made herself feel good and did what she seems to have always done with her relationship with her daughter. And she was the one that needed to be parented, to be comforted instead of her daughter being comforted.
Oh, I'm not saying she checked on her in a healthy way.
Oh, yeah.
She just checked to make sure, please tell me this was a mistake. Girl, get your life all the way together and put them shoes over there in that corner.
I know. I was sitting when I was watching, I was like, how do you actually like fix your mouth to say that knowing what just happened to your child? You know, how do you rationalize that in your mind? I need you to tell me that this was a mistake or that you didn't mean it. And the fact that you have to say that to her, you already know.
You fed her the words.
And she said it immediately. It was like, it was a mistake.
And then the thing is, when she said it was a mistake, and she gonna say, is this a cry for help? And she said, no. Yes, it is.
Well,
Yes.
she knows
Good,
she can,
because you look around, you don't have nothing to cry for.
but you
That
know
was
she
the other thing
can't
that got me.
trust her mama. If she couldn't trust her when she was 10, she
That's
sure
true.
can't trust her now. And the cry for help, that pisses me off. When we be in sessions and stuff like that and we're doing families and say, you know, the parents or whatever, they came from a hard life and then their kid is well taken care of, just because they not dodging bullets and getting stabbed and stuff like that, don't mean that their life not hard for them. So don't diminish what your child is going through, because then the only type of pain that is acceptable is the pain that you endured.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I talk when I do family stuff like that, I say you have to keep things in context. You know, you have to keep it in context of the life that this person has lived. So they only know their experience. So you can't compare their experience to somebody else's because it's not them. They didn't live that life.
And I do have to tell them too, like, because I have a lot of families who their children are obviously experiencing anxiety now because of COVID and depression, and they'll tell their children, well, you just need to get it together because, you know, everybody get depressed or anxious at times and we just have to get it together. No, what?
But that's
Excuse me?
the problem. You didn't get it together. You
didn't.
just swept it under the rug and kept on going. And now you over here talking crazy to somebody you claim to love.
Exactly.
Insert Macy. towards
Yep.
Noni.
Yep.
Because all of her, as we will later learn about her past and her family, you're taking all of that energy and you're placing it on your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to live essentially vicariously through her
Yep.
to prove to people, you know, kind of.
And she told her you can't afford to be stupid. What?
Well, she was gonna be dead. She wasn't gonna be stupid, you know.
Yeah.
See, that's why the
So
Lord
much.
blessed me with the mama I got, because she don't say stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hurtful.
Very.
Again, you're further, and the other thing is you're further causing the problem on where she even got to this point to begin with. Like you
Yeah.
did not make that better. You worsened it.
I said that in my notes. I said when she made that statement of you can't afford to be stupid, the look that Noni gave her was like, see that right there, that type of attitude right there is why
Why she tried to.
attempt at suicide.
Trying to be PC, y'all. But y'all know we a little extra on
Sometimes.
the MMBs.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut over to Kaz's house, and he's trying to go in the house, and someone from the National Enquirer, I'm assuming, shows up and tries to buy him out to get him to give an exclusive.
$50,000.
I know. I was like,
Oh, I was like, wait.
Where y'all get that kind of money from?
when he said 50,000, well, when he got up to 50,000, I was like, oh, they really want this story.
Mm-hmm. It was the same guy that was in the press conference, trying to get her to
admit.
answer
Mm-hmm.
that she had, attempted.
But I definitely appreciate Kaz's character.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he took the card, just because you take the card don't mean nothing. That, he didn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you a call, that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
appreciate that he was like, why are you trying to profit off this girl's pain, and misfortune? I mean, it definitely speaks to who he is, and kind of, now he got his own issues, but, kind of who he is really underneath.
His integrity.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut a little bit later. And what I wrote in my notes was I said, man, her boyfriend is trash. Because there was really like no care or concern there.
No. Well, I mean, the first comment, so she's at the hotel still. She's, took off all her makeup. She's in her PJs, winding down for
Watching
the
the
night,
news.
watching the news because she's all over it. And so her phone rings or vibrates or whatever, and it's Kid Boy. And he says, yo, Ma, you good? Or hey, girl, you good?
You
Or
are-
something,
you all right, I
something
think.
like that. And then she's like, yeah, getting ready to go to bed or whatever. This boy talking about what you wearing. This is what be happening when I be dating y'all.
Like, I just, you've heard the news.
That
Because
look,
stuff in the industry ain't that big.
Right.
So you done heard. And you didn't. So
you don't even care.
You don't even care. You thought you saying you all right. Oh, that was, well, I checked on
That
you.
was his way. Yeah.
I said you all right. And you said yeah. So I thought we was good.
It's the bare minimum. Not for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I was like, he is straight trash.
Yeah.
But she didn't respond though.
She
laid-
didn't.
She
She
sure
put that
didn't.
phone down. So I was like, well, good for you. Because we can only assume that she didn't continue to respond to that for that night. And in that moment, I was like, okay, good for you that even though you responded with, yeah, I'm about to get into bed, that you didn't fall for that. And like you took your time out to kind of step away from the mess
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
Then there's like an interview with Gayle King, and I wasn't quite sure. I mean, it was like a little cut.
Yeah, she's on something now where she actually does this, because it threw me off.
It
So I was
threw
like,
me-
oh, she is an interviewer now. Got it. But they were asking about the attempt and was
Yeah.
it really real? And
I think it threw me off because I didn't know Gayle King was doing that back then. Like, I know she
yeah.
does it now,
she was.
but I didn't know she was doing it back then. And I was like, wait, Gayle. It made me like, wait, when was this movie made?
Yeah.
I had to think about it for a second.
It
but,
was because I mean she was on her current set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was doing interviews like that. I don't know what I knew she was doing something, but I didn't remember her doing interviews.
I forget she got a real job because in my head,
She's
us
Oprah's
growing
friend.
up, she's Oprah's best friend.
Yeah.
It wasn't when we grew up, we weren't privy to everybody's lives. It was just like the association of the person. So like everybody still called Ray J Brandy little brother. That we know he sung a couple of songs, but that's Brandy little brother.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM.
So it looks like Noni is on kind of like her apology tour, press run tour, or, you know, kind of damage control tour. Because after her thing with Gail, she's supposed to be going, I think, on Ellen right after that. Mm-hmm. The thing that I found interesting in this scene, and I wasn't quite sure if I was viewing it correctly or not. So they have food on the table and mom's on the phone talking to, I don't know who she's talking to. I'm assuming the record label about making sure that, you know, everything's good to go. And she takes a napkin and grabs something off the plate. I couldn't tell if it was a potato.
It was potatoes.
It was
potatoes? Hash browns.
Okay, because I was like, was that potatoes? And grabs it off the plate. And I was thinking, it's so innate and second nature in her mother to project this image that she needs to be perfect. Like, heaven forbid you have a potato and get bloated. You know what I'm saying?
Up, beginning stages of, you know, eating disorders happen like that.
And she did it, so, like, she just grabbed, like, it was not even...
Yeah, and Noni didn't even respond. She grabbed her grapefruit.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little offended because she took the napkin off her lap. But she was more like, I just opened that. But my problem with it, I get the whole bloat and all that kind of stuff. But the girl had egg whites, a broiled tomato, the hash browns, and a grapefruit. You acting like she had a whole grand slam.
Yeah, she had pancakes.
Not grand slam.
4 pieces of sausage and orange juice and some grits and some, like, it was a super healthy breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, man, her mom, I was like, man, it's like so ingrained in her that she doesn't even think about it. Like, she didn't miss a beat. She is on this phone call and just did that like it wasn't even nothing. Smooth move.
Because my thing is, if she couldn't have the hash browns, why did they put it on the plate? Like, why do you even have to go through those extra steps?
Mm-hmm. That's how you do your meal ticket, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there was something, I can't remember what the exact dialogue in that particular scene was, but it was like mom had before the phone call stuff, it was like she had a split second of realization. But then, like,
who, mom or Noni?
Mom. But the phone call happened and then it was gone. Like, it was just that quick. Because I can't remember what Noni said to her. Oh, I wish I could play the clip right now.
Yeah, she was like in mom mode for like less than 5 seconds.
Like,
I don't remember
real
what she
quick.
said either.
Yeah, I don't
It was
even
really
remember
quick.
that part.
But because it was something about the label and pushing the label and, you know, kind of her image and stuff. And then mom kind of was like, And then it was like, phone call.
Oh, I think they were talking about, don't give me the line. I think I'm confusing part.
It's okay. Sorry, guys. Anyway, but the other thing that I was thinking, because the phone call that mom is having is about them pushing the album release. And I was thinking they have every right to push the album release. Do you realize the press that's going on around her and how much money that potentially could cost the label? Because when you think about a record company, it's a numbers game. You know, while you would love for them to care about their artists and make sure that they're okay, it's money. They've invested a lot in building and crafting this individual, and now that they have this situation, it potentially is going to cost them a lot. So they need that kind of fever to die down so that they can then re-promote. But you know, of course, we find later that other things take place. But yeah. So then after that, we have a weird cut over to Kaz and his father. And I'm assuming this is a campaign manager at some event where we learned that Kaz is running for some city position.
I think he's going to try to be a councilman.
Yeah, they don't ever actually say what the position is, but he's running for some city position. And, you know, the dad is kind of like, you need to get this money. So, you know, put on a good front. You know, you need to present well and be careful about kind of like what your associations are, and because this is your future.
I think this is the first time we see Cass in his unhealthiness.
Being forced into something, not necessarily forced, but not really knowing the full depth of what he's going to have to give up or deal with. And he's just kind of wanting to be like dad and not really asking himself if being like dad is what I want.
Yeah, go with the flow. I think that's kind of like the overall theme for the two main characters.
Yeah. And it's the parents that's steering the steering wheel.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so something that I also wrote based off kind of between these next two, this previous thing we just talked about and the next one, you know, I was like, this movie really kind of highlights the collision between like media coverage, mental health, sensationalism, and like lying. You know, it really kind of collapses those things in a good way. Because I was like, man, this stuff was everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, because mom was like, don't read your tweets. She said that a little bit earlier when they were doing the press run. But like, don't read your tweets, and, you know, just all the stuff, different channels it was on, and, you know, how everyone's saying, like, was it a suicide attempt? Was it this? Like, was she depressed? Is it, you know, and how it's like, man, this young lady can't recover.
Yeah, it reminds me of what we saw with Tamar Braxton most recently, and then Michelle Williams of Destiny's Child most recently with their attempts. So, you know, they didn't get no break, and then people being in their comments dogging them out. I'm just like,
that ain't making it no better.
I was like, what are you hoping to accomplish? Death? That's what you want?
Yeah.
It's just sad.
It was very sad. But I love that they did depict that, because it is a reality. I mean, that's exactly what happens. You know, people have such a poor understanding of mental health.
I do.
You know, so that they end up saying things that exacerbate the situation. Yeah, but that was kind of all I wanted to say about that. So then they go, Kaz shows up to the hotel.
With some coffee.
Trying to bribe his coworker to let him in. And he like, nah, dog, you're not gonna get me to go against my job. You can go downstairs and wait for her, though.
You're a little groupie.
So of course he does, and then she does see him.
I heard you were looking for
me. And he apologized to her for what he said at the press conference, and she apologized for putting him in the position that she did. So I did like that they at least acknowledged that, you know, I know that you did something that you didn't want to have to do, and I'm sorry that, you know, my situation put you in that position.
Yeah, I thought that was I thought that was a good communication for them, because you know, given how they met, that was a good communication, a good start off as well, a start over.
So one of the things that I was thinking about just him and her was, I was like, they do seem to have some chemistry, but I was wondering, was this a trauma bond?
Mm-hmm.
I think it probably initiated as a trauma bond, but because fairly quickly, like what we're about to see in the movie, they began to like learn each other and do things. I don't think it stayed that way.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see that.
Yeah, I could see that. I thought about that when they were on the balcony gazing into each other's eyes. I was like, oh, that looked like that's getting ready to be unhealthy.
Look, come save me.
Dr. Wall says she ready for her trauma bonds.
My healthy ones.
I mean, because even his father said that. He was like, you know, sometimes when you, I understand how it feels, because sometimes when you save people, y'all can kind of feel that bond, or I can't remember exactly. Yeah, that connection.
Yeah. What you do?
Yeah.
Because it definitely happens. We see it all the time.
Stockholm syndrome is real.
It really is. The other thing I thought about this scene when he jumps into did they jump into his vehicle?
Yeah, she jumped into his car.
She jumped into his vehicle. Okay.
He did his little two-step like, wait a minute, hold on, let me go.
But that's because mom was coming. You know, she had already tried to be like, we got somewhere to be. And she was like, can you give me a second, please? Thank you. And she was running away.
Mm-hmm. And I said, in this scene, I was like, man, this is on top of what she's already dealing with mom. The paparazzi and how that really can get into a person's psyche and, break them down over time. And it made me think about Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. So y'all remember, I don't know when this would have been, maybe somewhere in the early 2000s, where she kind of had that breakdown and shaved her head and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was like, constantly being photographed, your name being screamed at you, people following you, stalking you. I can't even imagine having that lack of privacy.
Yeah. My mind automatically went to the Harry and Meghan thing, and then further back in, Harry's mom, Princess Diana, being murdered technically by the paparazzi, and that whole situation. You know what I mean? It's just it's just sad.
Yeah,
it really is. Because I think there's a dehumanization that comes along with that. People expect a celebrity to just be okay with anything.
Yeah,
because
like fame takes away.
Right, it takes away their right to be a person.
Yeah, I remember it was something. Something was going on with Whitney Houston, and people were, just taking pictures. I think it was a part of her, their little reality show they had. Mm-hmm. And I remember her going off on people taking pictures of her, and people were like, "Ooh, she's so rude." No, she wanted to have a private moment with her family.
Yeah.
Just because she's setting boundaries and saying like, "No, I don't want to be photographed right now," it doesn't mean she's being rude. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that paparazzi and fans don't understand. Like, they need to be able to have some privacy.
Yeah.
And yes, they are a celebrity, but that don't mean that they always want their life on blast.
You're not entitled to anything of them but what they give you.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing you're entitled to is the entertainment part. Mm-hmm. When they do a movie, I get to see the movie. Mm-hmm. But no, I agree with everything that you guys say. You're not entitled to people's private time. And we've heard a lot of celebrities say that, like they were at a restaurant with their children and people just walk up to their table and, or sit down or touch them and things. And it's like, you cannot, like that. You don't get hurt doing that. Right. That's why people got bodyguards.
And right.
Or they be fighting people, because I'd probably be that person.
And because I remember Dr. Strickland and I were studying one time at Starbucks. And we saw a individual that is mainstream and
we saw a famous gospel artist that tends to lead,
and he's short.
He's short,
and we saw him
sometimes
a
you
few
gotta
times.
Smile.
He had a song with somebody that used to be in a group called Salt and Pepper,
called Stomp.
Something along them lines. So we saw somebody in,
like he always
like
be
that.
around.
Yes,
yeah.
we saw him
like
a few times. Plies. Oh my God, I never even thought about that.
I went to school with his son at ACU.
Who, Plies?
No.
Oh,
the other person.
The other one.
The other one. Okay.
So if y'all ain't caught the drift yet.
Yeah, that's who we talking about. Well, we saw him several times actually. And I remember the first time I told Doctor, I said, "Hey, there go such and such." And she was like, "Yep, it is." And we didn't go bother him because of course he was in his chill mode. He was, kind of like just dressed down. And
Incognito.
yes. And so, and then the second time we saw him, he came up to us. He's like, he was like, "What y'all doing?"
Because we had seen him in and out.
Yes.
He frequented this Starbucks.
Well,
a
y'all
lot.
live near him. All of the black gospels peoples live over in y'all's vicinity. A lot of them do.
Well, oh yeah.
On that side.
We were in Arlington.
We were in Arlington.
Oh, okay.
Because
We were in Arlington.
Yes. I was like, don't give no more information. Look.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I was getting ready to say where we were.
Yeah.
No. See, y'all ain't about to get into the business like that. No. But
we
proceed, Dr. Jones.
So I'm just saying, like, we tried our best to make sure we respected his privacy, even though we obviously knew who he was. We didn't try to get his autograph because, I mean, he was incognito.
And it's hard sometimes. I remember, I would say probably like my freshman year, sometime when I first started college, like every time I got on a plane, I saw Bow Wow. Not that I'm a fan of Bow Wow like that, because it was, two different age groupings, Immature was on the plane, I'd have been all over it.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's Bow Wow. But I saw him every time, and then I kept seeing Genuine, and I was like, okay, Lord, are you trying to tell me something? But you want to just respect them. Like, you can fangirl all you want to, but at the same time, you don't got to bum rush them. You don't got to be disrespectful of what they trying to do and who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. So those were our thoughts about the paparazzos. They're one thing when they're in the car, she wants to go to her favorite spot and get something to eat. And then they go to one of his favorite spots, which seems like it's kind of underneath where planes land. So, because he likes looking at planes for some reason.
Even though he's afraid of them.
Right.
I know. I was thinking, I was like, where was she supposed to be going? Because you was dressed up.
Probably
And you
just
completely ditched
appearance. Because, she really ain't got nothing going yet because her album hasn't dropped. So she probably just had a little club appearance.
Maybe. Yeah, that's possible.
I know. I had wrote in my thing. I said she just ditched wherever she was supposed to be going.
I was like, oh,
you're flaking on your
your
requirements.
fans or whoever.
You're not setting yourself up if you're supposed to be getting to this next level. But we understand she's got a mental health crisis kind of going on in the moment. And I was thinking, man, both of their lives are in other people's hands. Their lives are not their own. And they both are struggling kind of in that same area. And I can't remember what he asked her, but, she talked about the high of being on stage and how, it was better than anything that, you could ever experience.
They just asked each other, what is it like to be a celebrity? What is it like to be a police officer?
Gotcha. Oh, I think she asked him, what is it like to save somebody's life?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And I thought he copied her answer, but I thought it was real. I've heard a lot of celebrities say that when they get on stage and things like that, they're nervous before, but once they get out there, it's like they transform and become a completely different person.
Yep.
It is. I mean, although I'm not a celebrity, obviously, I've danced for some celebrities, and even in a sound check, the music sounds different from the CD. And so it's like, wait a minute, what?
It's almost an out of body experience.
Yeah. And so when you go out there to do the actual performance, even like, because when I'm performing, I don't even see I don't see anybody. Because if I catch somebody's eye contact, I'm going to get distracted. Like, I'm going to forget my next move and I'm going to mess up. And so then I'm going to have to choreograph my whole routine again.
Oh, wow.
While I'm on stage.
And get off the
good
stage.
to know.
So it is like, it is a high. I almost feel like you have to go there because
If you don't, you kind of weighed down by your everyday life. You have to become the fantasy that you are portraying.
Gotcha. That's good to know. If I ever become a celebrity.
Well, you are going to become a celebrity. Speak it.
You heard it here first, guys. So something else that I thought was very interesting, after she finds the card to the Inquirer, I was like, man, we literally just talked about cognitive distortions. And she was jumping to all kinds of conclusions.
Yeah.
I mean, she was on the trampoline of life, because she was like, whoop. And
Well, how much do we need to pay you?
Uh-huh.
Girl, sit yourself down 50 seats.
Because he was like, first of all, beep,
Come
I
on,
don't want
babe.
your money.
Mhm.
And it's insulting. You know, I get why she jumped to the conclusion that she did. I mean, because it is a logical jump. So I will say she didn't make an irrational jump.
Well, the only reason why I was saying that it was I don't want to say necessarily irrational, but a little jump was because the card was in his car.
Mm-hmm.
If he was, did they have cell phones? Yeah, they did have cell phones because her mom was on the cell phone. But I was like, the card was in the car, in the cup holder.
Yeah. I think her reaction was, once he said no, that's like, because he was very like poignant in his answer to her about the card.
Yeah.
You know, but she continued to escalate because she was assuming that he wanted money. But he was very clear and like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm not down with that. But then afterwards, I was like, he still is caring about her well-being, because he was like, put your seatbelt on.
And would not start the car up.
Please.
I was like, this man is a rescuer.
He is.
Yeah.
If I've ever seen one.
He
definitely
says it.
Yeah, that savior complex.
Yeah, and her over there throwing that tantrum with that seatbelt. I was like, girl, just put the seatbelt on.
Mm-hmm.
When she put that seatbelt on, I was like, you must not be used to having nails on. Because she grabbed it like I'm scared to touch it.
Maybe she got a fresh set or something.
Maybe, girl. I was like, you ain't used to it.
No, she got on.
Yeah.
She got on press-ons, because later on in the movie,
Yeah,
she just
that's
like,
true. Pop them joints off.
and if you've had your nails done,
can't
anybody
do
know, you'll tear your fingernails up.
You won't have
trying
no
to do
finger.
that.
That hurt so bad. I like that. I got
Just
my
thinking about it.
hands in the fist now. I'm scared.
Y'all know what was telling in that scene was her apology was her direction, her address.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah.
like, so you're not going to apologize to this man? You done jumped all down and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Just going to give your address. That's where I want to go next.
And she said it so calm.
Well, but she's had to be detached from her feelings for so long, because her life has been constructed and crafted for her.
Yeah.
So she has to kind of go into this, you know, I just exist mode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I did think that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go to her house, which is, I'm like, wait a minute, you ain't even dropped the album yet, and you have this like immaculate,
Yeah.
like this mansion is huge. I didn't understand. I was like, where did all that money come
That's
from?
what they do.
But this house was nice. It was bad. That kitchen was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start to get into it about something. I can't.
Well, he was like, you going to call your crew and tell them that this is where you are? And she said, so does that mean you are done saving me or rescuing me or saving me?
Saving.
Like
I wrote with saving.
okay.
I was like, man, she being mad, disrespectful to this man. Like, everybody is just really disrespecting him, like, and not putting any thought into what he did and how it has affected him.
But you know, that's what people do when they've been in abusive situations. You know, she's been in an emotionally neglectful, abusive situation.
Yeah.
And you constantly are testing people to make sure that they are going to stay. They're going to be there for you, instead of just being like, okay, let me just take this at face value and figure out if I even want the person.
Well, that's also what people do to police officers too, which is why police officers don't think that they can come to counseling.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was interesting in this scene was, you know, when he was getting ready to leave and she was telling him that she knew he wasn't going to call And I was like, you manipulative something. Because if you knew that, why did you even say all of that stuff that you said to him in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, then you just, antagonize this man for literally nothing. And then
Self-sabotaging.
And then you gonna backdoor that with, I see you too.
Which was true.
Which was true.
But you pick a side, ma'am.
Right. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's confusing for a person. Like, so you berated me and accused me of being like a money hungry, kind of fame grab. Listen, now that was the second time you've accused me of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you backdoor that with, well, I see you. And I know you're not actually going to do it. Like, what?
If that's unhealthiness to its finest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then slob him down.
He be kissing.
That kiss was... Whew.
He be kissing everybody. All the movies he in, he be kissing.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
It ain't no TV/movie kiss.
You know what? Not saying that I really want these two people to kiss, but him and Taraji, because she be kissing people. Because Taraji and Michael Eli said, y'all don't make not now another movie together. Okay? Not now another.
That's hilarious. So we get another little cutscene after that. And he's with his father. And his father's trying to, kind of give him more advice about, even though it's not in the most healthy way, but he's trying to give him advice about, what are you planning to do, son? Look at your image. Is this young lady, good for where you're trying to go? And yeah,
it was bad. He was like, well, she ain't first lady material, so that ain't who you need to choose.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know you in and line. I was like, how misogynistic is this movie gonna get?
Yeah, some stuff doesn't age quite as well as we would like it to, but it's the reality of the time it was set in. So, but yeah, I didn't. I was like, man, these two young, because who knows how old they actually are, but I was like, man, these two young people just have no control over their lives. It's all based off the needs, wants, and expectations of the people around them.
Yep. And
then, I don't know if she attempted to make, after this, she was making him her bodyguard. Is that what happened? Was that his role?
I wasn't
think she
quite
just
sure. Wanted to spend time with him. That's what I got from it. But I understand what you.
Yeah.
What
well,
no,
I figured that, but like the way for her to be able to do that was
security.
making him the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her personal security person.
It was killing me because old boy was like, "So you the Boy Scout?" I'm like, seriously.
I was like, where y'all get this security person from? Because I know y'all ain't been hanging out with this dude since y'all came to America. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a weird interchange.
Yeah. And I thought I like this kind of set of scene here because I thought it gave Kaz a real opportunity to see what her life is truly like and what may have led to,
everything.
What happened on the balcony. And it was even more telling at the photo shoot.
Girl.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
That when she had to take her top off and her mama, I was like,
and she looked over to her mama. Her mama was like, "Do it. Why you
hesitating?"
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, like the discomfort.
Yes,
and embarrassment.
It was clear that she was uncomfortable with that. But like you said, this is a young lady that does not have control over her life.
And this happens a lot in that industry, the music industry or the fashion industry or whatever. People getting, not necessarily like this, but people getting taken advantage of. Like you get in a compromising situation, you are a fan of this person or you or whatever, and you end up getting coerced into some stuff you can't get out of.
Mm-hmm.
And even Cass looked uncomfortable. He was like, wait, she gave her approval?
Mm-hmm.
Got her boobs all out.
Yeah. And because she immediately covered, as soon as that jacket came off and her arms came out of those sleeves, she went straight to covering. And, it's just like, as a parent, I understand you wanting your child to be successful, but you have no visualization for what you're actually looking at.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been different if your child was like, you know, more free, more on, and didn't really care. Like, it wouldn't, if I saw Willow Smith do that, I'd be like, okay, she wanted to do that, because that just appears to be who she is. That's how she
free
comes
spirit.
across. That ain't Noni.
Right.
Noni out here scared to death.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you could tell it all over her face. And then, but everyone around you was saying it's okay. So what are you going to do? You know, you going to be the squeaky wheel, or are you going to go along with it?
And then everybody congratulating her because she killing the pictures.
Right.
And I was thinking in my head, she's really not, but okay. Like, you don't see the
The fear
yeah,
in her eyes.
but maybe that, you know, that's just me.
Yeah.
So then they go back to her house, right? After
Yeah.
this. So then I think this is where he also kind of reveals that he's following, you know, in the footsteps of what his father wants him to do, and that they have like a commonality in that way.
I thought it was interesting. One, she didn't even like her own song. She didn't want to hear her own song. And then he said, put your mouth on what?
Put your face where?
Right. I thought that was, you know, a cute little interchange.
It was. But you're right, though, because she was like, let me turn this off with the quickness. But when you hear the song, I mean, it's kind of...
It's a little raunchy.
Yeah.
But the song that
Sorry, guys.
played after, you know, they both knew that song. You know, totally different vibe, energy. Like,
Yeah, because you can tell, you know, kind of when as they're talking and listening, that she wants more substance.
Yes.
You know, she wants to sing real, not that what she recorded wasn't real music. What I mean by that is she wanted to record things that
Soulful music.
Heartfelt.
that
Yeah.
that can connect with a person on a deeper level, versus kind of the more surface stuff.
yeah.
And I think that says a lot about the woman that she was wanting to become. And the restriction she had on her to not become that woman. Like her mom didn't, that's not how her mom raised her.
Yeah. And then I cannot remember what was asked, but in this scene I was like, you know, you got to make sure you don't ask questions that you are not quite ready for the answer to.
When he asked her what's up with her and kid.
Oh, wait, before y'all go into that segued into her showing the songs that the lyrics that she's already written in this
that's
box.
right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, come on, vulnerability, like, you know, showing part of yourself, like what you've written and things like that. Now, it sounded a little weird, the lyrics she wrote, but that's not the point of the movie. It's that she opened up and he was receptive to it.
Yeah.
Taking off them layers.
Yeah.
But then I agree with you, you know, that, but I think it was a connection to the song that they were listening to in the, I guess, living room, that, you know, she really wants stuff that's deeper, that has more of a meaning and has layers to it. But then when he did ask about kid boy, don't ask questions you ain't ready to get a real answer to. If you gonna get a little jelly belly, you might want to think about that.
Yeah. But I mean, she revealed that, yeah, they together because the industry, the record label wanted them to be together. So the relationship ain't even real. Now, of course, they probably, you know, they done hooked up, they done did stuff or whatever. But she didn't even like this dude.
No,
not at all.
I mean, that ain't her type.
Right.
If Kaz is her type, he ain't her type.
yeah, because them two couldn't be further from
Oh God, yes.
on total opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So then after that, they have a small little dinner scene, which
Just the one with the
Breaking bread with the
preachers.
pastor.
Yeah.
Girl, my flesh was crawling in this scene too.
yeah, I was like, I kind of feel like they could have left this out, but I understand the point. So Kaz is being kind of instructed that he needs to get the vote or secure the vote of the church community. So they're going to be very strict and specific on what they want to see from him. So he has to be able to perform. So they were having dinner somewhere. And of course, I guess, I don't know who this particular pastor was, but he asked Kaz a question about kind of like what he was planning to do and how a young person could, you know, do this. And is he comparing, based off his response, was he comparing himself to Martin Luther King? Which I did like Kaz's answer in response to what he said. It was very mature and sounded very
good.
thought out.
And at the end of the day, I think people forget who Martin Luther the King was. He was flawed too.
Yeah.
He had a lot of stuff he was doing that was not appropriate, you know, because he is a man. That doesn't take away from the fact that he did great things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they kind of end that scene with that pastor saying something about, you know, we're going to look at your actions.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So we already know some stuff's about to pop off. You know, you got to pay attention to what people say in movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they give you little golden nuggets, and that was one. Then they cut over to a scene where Noni is in the club.
I thought this was weird.
This scene was so weird to me. The only thing that I don't know, it was in some sort of club and she was dancing all over somebody.
2 people.
That was
first.
then?
That was right after that.
I guess I just blanked out and forgot about that scene. I thought we was going right to kid boy.
Because that's right after, that one's right after this.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I wrote about the scene, the only thing that I can see that kind of pushed this forward was that her detachment, because she did have a brief second in there where she sat down and she just kind of looked absent and lost, and then her friends kind of were like, you know, hey girl, you know how you know we get when we're going out, and then she just kind of perked up and like started being, you know, all into whatever they were doing. So that was really the only thing that I could kind of potentially grasp from that scene.
Perpetrate.
But it could have, I mean, I think the movie would have been fine without it.
Yeah, that was definitely a weird transition.
Because it was such a short, and especially after where it was.
Unless they were trying to show us how she was, I guess, reflecting, because she did have, I can't remember if it was then, but she was reflecting on her relationship with Cass.
She thinking about what she doing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can come up with, but I feel like they could have done it
a different way. Yeah.
So then in the next scene, she's going to meet Kid in his trailer. She sees Big Sean on the way, which I was like, he looks way different.
That was nice cut, Big Sean.
Okay.
Now he Janae Aiko, Big Sean.
Because I was like, hold on, because I was like, Big Sean is, Lord have mercy.
He fine to me.
He is so fine, but who was in this movie?
That's the young one. That's the young
I was
one.
like, who is that? That's not the Big Sean that I see in my eyes.
That's little Big Sean.
Okay. Because I was like, hold on. So she kind of has a little dialogue here with him. I guess they were trying to say, like, if you're walking around on set and stuff, you'll just see random people. So she goes to Kid's trailer and she proceeds to break up with him.
Oh, that kiss was so disgusting.
But what I did like, he took it well.
I really thought he was gonna be a stand-up guy off of this, and you know, stuff happened, but that's not the point. What I didn't like is before that, when she was walking through his homeboys, it was just really
weird,
cringy.
Yeah,
for
like
some reason.
oh, there she go. Like it was almost like he had somebody in the trailer and they was trying to like cover it up.
That's what I thought when I first saw this movie.
But wasn't nobody in there but him.
Right.
No, but I was surprised. He actually took it very well.
I thought so too.
It was very maturely.
Gave good advice.
Which I agree with you, Dr. Wall. I thought this, wow, okay. So I thought this dude was grimy, but he's actually, okay, he's a pretty cool dude, but then proceeded to confirm everything that we were thinking a little bit later.
Yes.
Okay, so she breaks up with Kid, and then she shows up to the precinct. As they're bringing in the dude that from the house that
domestic violence
that had some domestic violence, which this further goes into Kaz's savior complex, because he wants to save this woman and her children from being abused by, assuming, her husband and the children's father. She tells him that she broke up with Kid.
He said, I didn't ask you to do that.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, she's trying to like let you know, like, I'm into you.
I'm for you, sir.
So I made sure that I was free and available with no strings attached for you. But, you know, of course.
He was like, I just got in because I didn't want to embarrass you.
And I would have been like,
whatever, boy. Your friend said you was getting in this car with me.
mm-hmm. But I also thought, you know, he also doesn't like being in the limelight the way that, you know, she does as well. I don't know if she likes being in the limelight, but the way she has to, you know, you can definitely tell that he doesn't like that. Then inserts.
Yes.
If y'all could see the smile on my face.
On all our faces.
Yes.
Here comes a little razzle dazzle scene.
The mile high.
So they're walking on, you can definitely tell it's a private jet. And they're playing Drunken Love through the headphones. And she proceeds to sit him down on this. He has no idea that he's on
A plane.
Because he's blindfolded.
Because remember, he's afraid.
He's afraid of planes. He's blindfolded and she got the headphones. She got Drunken Love playing inside the headphones. And then proceeds to give him the business.
Well, first, they just kissing.
Which was good enough.
Yes, they just kissing, and all of a sudden,
The
it
plane
started
sta-
moving
the plane-
different than he used to.
He was like,
he took the blindfold off.
and he was like, wait, hold up now.
And she's like, no.
And talking about some, I want to be your first.
I was like, wait a minute.
I said, ooh, they doing so much.
I said, you better take charge, ma'am.
I loved it.
But he was like, okay, I think I love you. I mean, no.
I know. I was like,
that was
serious?
hilarious.
I was like, oh my God. But at least
That
he
was so
tried.
cute.
At least he tried to take it back right then.
Yeah.
And then she started laughing. They was both laughing. But I even though it was funny and sexy and a whole bunch of other stuff, I was so appreciative that she was meeting his needs because he does a lot of meeting her needs so far in the movie. So I was so happy that, you know, of course she got the money to do what she want to do and took him up and got to see the clouds and actually
Be on a plane.
Yeah, because he ain't never been on one.
I mean, you cured his fear of flying.
You think?
That's one way to get there.
Right.
So, you know, then essentially that scene's pretty much over after that. And they, you know, I think it's now time for the BET Awards.
Well, they have
Before
a
that-
limo drive home.
Yeah, and he was and talking about, what did they say? What was the...
I know she asked him something about, so is that why you don't have a girlfriend? And he said, I
Yes.
thought I did.
I was like,
I love that.
you better
And
have
I
a
meant to ask, I meant to ask my fiance, do you remember when you asked me to be your girl? But I forgot. But I'm going to ask him tonight.
There you go. So then they have that little scene in the limo, and then they get to the red carpet. Her mother was over it. Just
Yes.
looking at the two of them, she was over
She was.
it.
She's like, you are messing up the plans.
Yes. She was like, boy, if you don't leave my daughter alone.
But you know what? When Noni came around that corner in that dress with that them chains taped to her, I said, you better put that.
You better be able to wear it.
I wish your dress was just a tad bit longer, but the outfit was cute. It really was.
Yeah, she looked really nice. She looked nice throughout the movie.
She did.
What I liked was she acknowledged him.
Yes.
Like she was like, She put that
She
hand,
confirmed the rumors.
okay, she put that hand back and was like, no. You're not going to be in the background. Nobody put this baby in a corner.
Dirty Dancing. Yes, I liked it. I said, oh, look at Roxy. Come on, Roxy and a few more people, which is accurate for the BET Awards.
So I really did appreciate that she acknowledged him, you know, because it definitely showed the role and position she wanted him to play in her life. And she was like, look, and the world is going to know it.
Yeah.
So I like that. And then I was like, after that, here go mama again.
Trying to control. Oh, sorry.
Trying to control stuff. And I'm just like, oh, Lord have mercy, this mother. Jesus.
But although I didn't like her tactics, she did have a good point. When people see him, they are going to be reminded of her because he did save her.
Wasn't nobody worried about that. It's like, oh, y'all sexy. That's really what they was probably thinking. You know, people attention span is short.
I thought they both made valid points. I thought they both were correct about her in some way. Mm-hmm. You know, I do think that there will be a subset of people that will be reminded of that. I think there's a subset of people that will be like, oh, shoot, girl. Okay. So you got your knight in shining armor. And then I do think that there's what he was saying about like, you can't control her life. Like, she's her own individual. You can't control her life. Like, I think that they both made valid points about her. I just didn't like Mom's like method of getting there.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And again, poor Noni.
Oh.
The stylist is trying to tell her what's going to happen with this trench coat that she's wearing. And she's like, okay. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
As we will proceed to see as she starts singing her song on stage. And
the dancers. Let the dancers take
the dancers was like, what is going on?
We
like,
practice this.
You not doing the routine. You going to throw me off.
Right.
But this is what happens when you have a good partner that's supporting you. It makes you look at everything you've been doing. Is this sufficient, or do I need to be better? And Noni was like, I need to be better. This is not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was a couple of parts in her routine or performance that she looked at him, and he looked at it was like it almost seemed like he knew she was supposed to do something different, but she didn't. He was like, that ain't, yeah,
like, what's going on? Yeah. And I felt so bad for them dancers because they was like, what?
We just trying to do the choreography.
WTF? You're not letting this thing open. And then stupid
drama.
Kid boy fulfilled his name. The kid part. And
culprit.
the testosterone, the jealousy, the whatever he was thinking, got the best of him and proceeded to completely embarrass and
ruin the show,
embarrass her, borderline almost abuse her.
He did abuse her.
I mean, them throws on that bed was not like, that wasn't a real mattress.
Right.
I feel like, first of all, and for all of our Caucasian interns, this is no slight to you. Don't you come to the BET Awards and show your white butt. You go sit down.
Yes. Yeah, it was way
Disrespectful.
too much just for ego.
Yeah.
And
stop
it was
the music.
All ego.
Right.
Going off, talking about Officer Nicole is just getting his sloppy seconds. Grabbed his stuff. She was almost butt naked.
Right. Like that. Other than obviously the jealousy and just him being a man child, I just did not. What was the purpose?
Because she was showing too much attention to Officer Kaz. Let me stop calling him man that. To Kaz
during the performance.
Because he's filming.
During the scene when she was dancing with Kid. Yeah. She was looking over at
and he pushed her head down. See, I couldn't tell where she was looking.
Before they got to the bed scene of the routine, and she, he's filming her, so she's supposed to be playing up to the phone that he has, because of course it's being displayed on the other screen, and she in love with a boo thing, and so he sees that, looks over, and is upset, and then that's when she goes into the next part, the bed part of the performance,
and pushing him down, and he's trying to
take the trench coat off. Still,
I was proud of her. She stayed in character the whole I didn't want to slap some partners before when I used to do partner dance. I was like, I'll fight you right here.
But she did. She was a performer. She was able to continue on with the routine, even though she was breaking the, whatever the next step in that routine would have been, but she was able to keep going. That's a professional.
Yeah.
But what Kid did was completely unprofessional.
Yeah.
And my thing is, her mama was worried about Cass. That's who you needed to be worried about.
Because I was like, at the end of the performance, before he started saying all that stuff and talking, I'm like, how you gonna take that girl head and put it in your crotch?
Right.
First of all, this BT, we do a lot of stuff, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that okay?
Talk bad about that girl. And then Kaz, I said, you better have some integrity, because he's like, let me just go get my woman. I need to protect her. Let me get her. And then I don't remember what Kid Boy said.
He called her a female dog.
Yeah, called her a female dog. Kaz was, I'm done. Knock that fool out.
He did.
He did.
And then his homeboy came and bum rushed Kaz.
You
can't
better
fight
get
your own
I was
fights.
just going to say, you better get somebody, because he about to kill you, bro.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
I was
this
like, I
is
better
so
not
horrible.
see Machine Gun Kelly and nothing else. Killed it.
That's how my mama feel about Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
She won't watch
old
nothing that
boy
he's in.
from the Tyler Perry film that we did in the beginning.
yeah.
It's a few people.
Yeah.
For a minute, I couldn't look at Michael Ealy the same. I said,
I couldn't look at Tank the same after it was that. I can't remember the name of the movie, but
with the girl.
Yes.
Latoya, with Latoya.
yes, yes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can get these hands.
Oh man. When you act too good, sometimes that ain't good. So then Kaz's father is like, you think you a thug?
Yes.
He like, I tried to tell you, boy.
And called her a crazy broad. I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
Pops, you don't even, what?
I kept, this part when me and my roommate was watching, I kept saying, all right, mister. You got one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just disrespectful. So then, but I did appreciate that Kaz stood up to his father.
Yes.
And he was like, look, nah, you ain't, don't call her that. Don't talk about her like that. And then they cut over to Noni and her mom. And then mom calls her a cliche.
Oh God, girl.
I was like, but it technically was true. She was a cliche.
But she was a cliche before she crossed the pond.
Right.
And a statistic.
Right.
That's, yeah.
Right.
That's true.
But then my thing was like, but why are you pointing that out? You see what happened to her. This happened to her.
Victim blaming.
Yeah, like this
Now
didn't happen.
That is the true definition of victim blaming.
I know where you're going with that. But yes, because I was like, this happened to her. This was not something that just happened by accident.
Yeah, she the part that Kid Boy knows about, she handled it by the book. Now he don't know that she was smooching on Officer Fine. He don't know that. But from his perspective, she ended it correctly. She treated him with much respect, didn't do nothing crazy. And you done did her like this.
Right.
For your own ego. That was bruised.
Because you mad.
Sir, and the thing is, what are you mad about? Y'all didn't even have a real relationship. Y'all had a situationship.
Right.
That was orchestrated by the record label that y'all are both on.
Right.
I'm telling you, testosterone.
Well, I tell you.
I was talking
You
with
need some estrogen.
I was talking with my spouse about that because when he had gotten home when I was watching this scene, and he was like, well, yeah, he was like, you don't understand what it's like to have testosterone. He was like, you might have some, but you don't have it to the levels that we do. And he was like, that stuff will really like mess your head up, make you think certain things. And sometimes it'll make you do stuff that you probably wouldn't normally do because, it's filling us up with like rage.
Yeah, you gotta go get your levels checked.
Uh-huh.
Our men interns or people who have an abundance of testosterone, go get your levels checked. Don't be out here acting crazy.
Yeah, because too much is just as bad as too little.
And I'm not the one.
Yeah.
Or the 2 or the 3.
Yes. So now Kaz is gonna go be a hero again. And he about to rescue his boo. And they going off to Mexico.
Where is he at? And I'm a very independent person. I know I'm on a segue right now, but my thing is the effort. It's not that I need you to go to this extent, but it's the effort behind it.
Yeah.
Don't have me going hard, but you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Because he went hard.
Yeah,
he said, oh,
did.
no, we getting up out of here. We is gone.
I thought it was good that he thought enough of her to take her away from her normalcy.
And footed the entire bill.
Yeah.
Okay, on a police officer salary.
And she didn't bring no clothes.
Nothing.
Yeah, they didn't have nothing.
He did. She didn't. He went and got some stuff for him.
Yeah, but you remember they still had to go buy more clothes
Yeah,
while
that's
they were
In Mexico.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is probably the first time in her life that she's really had rest. Because she slept. He said she slept through lunch, dinner, and they were getting ready to he was going to eat breakfast. And I was like, she has never been free.
Yeah.
Ever.
And this was
And
one
without
time.
responsibility to an extent that's causing her distress.
Because she didn't always have to take care of mama,
Right.
regardless.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, man, that I can't imagine, kind of how that feels to have always been bombarded with expectation to the level that she was. Like her mother was truly expecting perfection. And then to have a moment where I can run in the sand and, be
Play.
swung around.
And pillow fight.
Yeah.
And that's why we say to you all the time, you have to examine those expectations that you have of yourself.
This was literally her adolescence, her coming into herself, and figuring out, okay, what do I like? Let me try this on. Let me have some vulnerability away from everybody and, show this man my hair.
I thought
Have playful sex, like all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I said, better
Girl.
come kiss her curls.
When
Girl.
she came around that corner, so innocent and childlike.
It was.
I thought it was cute, but it was sad. I was like, man,
Because she was expecting him to to reject her.
Yeah.
Like she just knew he was going to be like, what the hell?
And he was like,
Girl, he was like, he just grabbed them. He didn't grab her. He grabbed the hair.
I said, don't you grab my hair, boy.
And he said, bring it here.
Yeah.
Bring all that hair in my face.
bring all that.
I know that sounds worse than what it probably is, but
I'm here for it.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing is, it put me back in the mind of when I first went natural. Because black women are not accepted in our natural phase.
We've been having to cover it
Exactly.
the whole time we've been over here.
Yep. And I remember because my fiance for a long time didn't see it's not that I didn't wear my hair natural. I've had my hair natural for about 17 years now, but I would wear it straight or I would have some sort of crochet in. So he had never seen it in its natural state. And the first time he saw it in its natural state, he was like, babe, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I always want you to wear your hair natural.
It's such a deeply ingrained part of black women, especially. I remember when I cut all my hair off, it was after a breakup. And I was like, I just got to let it all go. The first time. I just big chopped again because of, chemo and stuff like that. But I got met with a whole bunch of like, why you do that? You got all that long, that same thing when I just cut it a minute ago. People was like, why are you cutting all your hair off when you got all this hair all the way down? This my hair.
And it grow back.
Yeah. And I'm a person, I don't want no security blankets when I no longer need them. And sometimes hair for black women is a security blanket. I need to not be attached to anything like that.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Girl, Derek stays saying, when you gonna wear your regular hair?
Babe, I want to kiss your curls too. Okay. Derek, you better kiss them curls.
Oh, I hope he listens to this session.
Derek,
hears that.
You hear this, Dr. Wall? Kiss them curls.
When you gonna wear your regular hair?
And he didn't even want you to go natural.
He didn't. I would have been Noni, and he would have been like, "Dang." I mean,
you still cute, but
I love you. Because I also have very long hair, and I was getting relaxed when I met my spouse, and transitioned to natural, and then big chop my hair off, and he was like, "Okay," but today, the thought of me having straight hair, he's like, "No."
You better go put a wig on and take it off.
No,
later.
he doesn't know.
He cannot stand the thought of me wearing a wig. Like it, I don't know if it disgusts him or what. He'd be like, no, why are you wearing, no, why are you going to put your hair, why are you going to get your hair braided? Why you wear your regular hair? So for those that don't know, regular hair means he wants me to wear it down and just in its curly state, like basically split down the middle and just curly.
Yeah, she almost got ringlets, y'all.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, wear your regular hair. You don't ever want to wear he hates when I wear a puff.
And all
what he call it?
naturals
Pineapple?
know
My pineapple.
that is the
go-to.
saving.
Yes.
Y'all, I'm telling you, when this little piece of hair I gotta get back to puff status, it's gonna be in a puff.
Okay. He'd be like, wear your regular hair. And I'm like, dude, do you know how, first of all, I have, for those that understand, I have like a combination between 3C, 4A, and maybe a couple of sprinkles of 4B in there. Them curls like to stay together.
You know what you should make him
They
do?
love each other.
Is make him sit through a wash day. Not have him do it because you won't have no hair, but make him sit through a
I sure
wash
won't.
day. And then
I
he'd be
won't have-
mad.
Oh, he's not gonna be patient. He's not gonna be patient enough to do that. He's gonna be like, Shonda, I gotta. What you doing?
I'd be like, oh. So I totally understand. Like literally, I can understand that scene.
angst.
Yeah.
The angst of showing somebody, you know, that you've changed your appearance and you're not quite sure how that person's going to receive, you know, that look. And it's such a beautiful thing when it works out, which thank God for her it did.
Yeah.
And then they go to the market.
The mercado.
And she give up them earrings.
Girl, because he was like, no.
We broke.
Right.
This
When he said
food.
we broke, I was like,
You better. Okay.
It's a we rate. We.
okay, sir. He like, girl, I don't care about your money. We broke. You ain't got nothing on you.
And she couldn't use her card or anything anyway, because then people will know where
Yeah.
you're at.
But she was like, nah, I'll give up the, ain't no telling how much them earrings cost. And
Girl.
she gave up them earrings for whatever that bracelet was.
His chart. No, what did she say it was? His dang it.
But it had meaning to it when she gave it to him.
She said something about this is earned.
Something like a badge of honor,
Honor,
but that's
yeah.
not what she said exactly, but along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
A merit badge, maybe.
I can't remember. I just know it was something about it being earned.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, it was significant and she wanted to at least extend to him like look, this means something to me that I'm giving it to you. And I think he really appreciated it.
Yep.
Then they go to sing a little karaoke.
Little ditty.
Well, before that, I thought it was interesting that
The picture. Yep.
yeah,
I don't know how I skipped that.
that's okay.
Yeah, I did too. So somebody comes up to her and says, "Hey, can we get a picture? Not can you take a picture?"
Right.
And she was like, "Okay." But then he went over to his boo and was like, "All right, are we ready?" And she was like, "Oh,
She perked up then.
like you don't recognize me?
Right.
I'm just a regular person out here in these streets." And she proceeded to take the picture of the people. Yeah, but I that kind of went back to what we were saying a little bit earlier. Like this was her one time to be able to finally relax
And not be familiar to people.
Yeah, which makes sense why, you know, people that do have some version of fame go away. You know, like if you think about a UK artist that comes to vacation in the US, I mean, the likelihood of, you know, unless they're super famous, you're not going to recognize them walking around on the street.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa. Unless they're super famous in the US, they're likely not going to be recognized walking on the street in a different country.
Like you can't be an international celebrity. Like you can't be, well, rest in peace, like Michael Jackson, because they
Right.
know you everywhere.
Well, that's why you create Neverland, or you create Paisley Park when you're Prince. Like you have your compounds and nobody.
Graceland.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense because you don't have the ability, like you are one of the few that has no ability to go anywhere.
Yeah. Y'all know that'd be me.
Isolation.
Introvert time.
So then they go to the karaoke and he proceeds to
Oh.
butcher.
Botch. Oh God.
Ooh, it was,
Can you stand the rain?
It was so bad.
It
I
was
said he really in his real life can't sing.
Yeah,
He
he
can't hold no note.
butchered that song.
Like people's ears were probably bleeding.
They start booing him.
Yeah, I would have too. So
Yeah.
then he was like, all right, well, whatever. You come up here and sing. So then she proceeds to sing Blackbird. And I don't know if the actress was really singing or she was doing a voiceover.
She had them mannerisms down. I couldn't tell really either.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like I've seen her in other movies, but they haven't been where she's had to sing. So I don't know if she can actually sing.
Yeah. But I thought it was a good rendition and very emotional. You know, you could tell like that was, I said, and this was her transformation. Like this was the beginning stages of her true like metamorphosis.
Yeah.
You know, she had been making small changes throughout, but like now, okay, I'm becoming a different woman.
She was actually connecting to that song. Like her gaze was not, it was not present to the audience that she was. It was like, my gaze is on what I have been going through.
Yeah. Even to the point of whoever, you know, produced the movie, they put little excerpts of young Noni singing it that kind of I thought of as, you know, propelling her through the song when it got too difficult to sing it. But she sung that song. She sung that song. Now I'm not saying it's to that death, but like in The Color Purple when Suge was singing, he trying to tell you something,
baby. I get goosebumps every time in that scene. I'd be like, "Ooh!" Especially when you say, "Daddy, even sinners have song." Baby, I was like, "Oh,
yes.
And he hugged her. I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
About time. Don't you ever do your baby like that again.
I know that scene get me every time.
But unfortunately, y'all, somebody filmed it.
Oh yeah.
And put it on YouTube. So obviously, she's not gonna stay incognito. I'm gonna say it the other way. Incognito. Let me say it the correct way. Very long because now everybody knows where she is.
Yep. So Mama finds her, shows up at the hotel
With the paparazzi. I'm like,
well, they found each other at the same time, really.
That's what she said. I don't even know if I believe her.
I believe it.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, like even Mom in that moment still found a way to make stuff about her.
Yep.
And still kind of shut her pain down. Like you can't even acknowledge like why your daughter and her boyfriend came to do this, but you so worried about, you know, how it's going to make you look and how it's going, you know, how it's going to affect the deal and like just no care.
Yeah.
No concern about her actual well-being. It's just about what can you do. Okay, so then she convinces her that maybe we can have you sing it, or
manipulation.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
One of the
Mom is playing chess, not checkers.
Yeah,
definitely.
One of the things that I didn't like is that she said, "You look happy." So then, why are you down here then? Why? If I look happy, why are you trying to pull me back to my unhappiness?
Because you stopping my grind. You stopping what I visualize. You know, you're interfering with the life that I want from me. You're stopping that. Yeah. So, like, I need you to get on the good foot and let's get on up out of here.
You need to take this happiness on back.
And I felt so many different ways, just kind of how her and Kaz ended there.
Yeah.
Because I think he was genuine in what he wanted for her when he brought her down there. Yeah. But you still forgot that she still is in the industry and that there are still expectations for her based off contracts and, she has obligations.
I think to me, in that moment, he did what her mom does to her all the time. Like he wanted her to do what he wanted her to do. Like, and even said, "I'm trying to save you."
Yeah. I feel like Noni had a good conversation with him, and I feel like she really voiced her thoughts really well, and he was right about her mom manipulating her and things like that. But I feel like as far as them, she was the one communicating for the first time effectively about, we're still gonna make this thing work. I'm just going back for the music, because she still is an artist. She still loves that part. It's just she got to correct some things. My problem ended up being is because he took it personal. Instead of him being able to
step back,
he forgot part of him. Sir, you can't stay here either. You got a whole job,
right?
Like you had to call off.
Yeah. Like how many days you off, sir?
A week, I think. But I was like, y'all can go back and make it work. It's a process. She's not going to become instantly like together.
Like, and the thing is, like, you don't need to be in a relationship with someone who needs you to rescue them all the time.
No.
And that's what because I think that was something, I can't remember what she said, but he was like, you don't need me and I'm good.
Because she said, you rescue me, I rescue you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then he goes, down the rabbit hole of emotional breakdown. And I was like, did he throw that bracelet in the ocean?
He did.
He threw the merit badge. I said, keep on here.
You having a whole mantrum.
He did. Now. I was like, ooh, because let the truth be told, when we got back together and you ain't got that bracelet.
And the dog tried to go get it.
It's gonna be some consequences and repercussions up in here. Which I just did not like that,
But he had to have some flaws. He couldn't be perfect.
True.
So. That's true.
Very true. So then they go to the boardroom, and again, Mama is playing chess, not checkers. So they make it seem like in this scene that Mama has finally stood up for her daughter and she gonna put her first and you gonna do what's right by her.
And she did technically.
No, she
at
didn't.
the board.
At the board. That's what I'm saying. In the board meeting.
In the presence of people.
Yeah. It looked like she finally stood up for her. She got old dude fired.
Yeah.
But
that was so manipulative and all for her. Because she wanted to get him back.
It was for always putting her down. There wasn't. I mean, yes, it was about her child. I'm glad she did have the facts that had terminated her, because the owner of the company didn't even know that his little henchman had sent something. I'm like, you can't fire people,
right?
You don't write these checks,
right?
So then they go. There's a they kind of transition over to Noni's house and. Her and Mom seemed to be starting off having a good conversation until Mom. So Noni is trying to say that she wants to have Blackbird on the album.
Her rendition
of Blackbird on the album. And Mom's trying to tiptoe and sidestep and say, well, maybe if we put it on the next one, or you write a couple of songs on the next album, but we really need to get this one going. And this is when Noni realizes it was all a farce. It was all a ploy. And Mama didn't mean none of that. And she proceeds to tell her mama all about herself.
Yeah.
And of course, Mama can't handle it because it was the truth. You pushed me. You essentially did this because you are mad that the people that you wanted to impress, your family didn't care nothing about you. So you trying to prove them wrong by using me. And you really don't care about me. You really don't love me. And then Mom slaps her,
knocks the crap out of her.
Yeah. And then Noni fires her.
I was so glad when she fired her mama.
And she was so respectful.
Yep.
I said, okay, little black girl. You did good. Because, you can't do too much. Don't be calling her by her first name and stuff. Right. But, yeah, you're fired. Walks off.
Yeah.
Because Mom was basically trying to make it like, well, I was 17 and I had a black child and my family was going to disown me and I was everything that they said I was. Oh, okay. So you just used me. I got it. I was a means to an end for you. And that's a hard thing to, even though Noni likely knew it the whole time, but to then see it after all of this be thrown up in your face that at the end of the day, Mom, all you really used me for was a come up.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
It will. It shakes your reality of your sense of self and your placement in this world, and you really can start to feel alone because it doesn't look like they have a relationship with a father or any family because no one else is mentioned.
And they don't have a relationship with each other. It's a manager celebrity relationship.
Yeah. And she said that, Noni said that. She was like, I needed my mom.
And you was always the manager. That she sure did.
Mm-hmm. So Noni proceeds to get to know Noni. Mm-hmm. She goes back over to Kaz's house, and I don't know what she was attempting to do, like apologize or get back with him or whatnot, but he gave her a cold shoulder.
The respectful cold shoulder.
He did give her the respectful cold shoulder, but cold shoulder nonetheless. It still feel cold.
Mm-hmm. It do.
And left her standing on that sidewalk like, oh, you really leaving? Okay.
Because he was on his way to
be vetted,
get some money from the rich people.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I did like that she said in this scene though was that he saw the goodness in her, and that was enough for her until she could see it in herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she apologized to him for not seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then she goes on Don Lemon, and
was it Don Lemon?
Mm-hmm. She was with Don Lemon.
I'm sorry, I was watching another movie.
And she starts to, tell the truth about what really happened. Like, you know what, you guys right. Mm-hmm. And she don't have on her stuff no more. This is the real Noni that's coming out.
Got her curls out.
Mm-hmm. Got her curls out.
The kissable ones.
Mm-hmm. And she has on much more modest clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells the truth. Like, yeah, I was in a dark place and this was the decision that I made. And, I hope that other people can see that and learn from, kind of where I've been. And I appreciated that, at least in that scene for Don, I'm assuming Don Lemon was playing Don Lemon.
Yeah.
That they allowed him to not try to poke into that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I like that he was himself because Don be saying some stupid stuff sometimes, and he was him.
Yeah, he can be a little wild at the mouth sometimes, but I appreciated that he didn't try to sensationalize that moment. Like he really was like, well, we really hope that you get better and that you're on a healthier track and getting what you need.
Mm-hmm. But y'all know what? The beginning of that scene got under my skin because it ain't you out here drinking your water, got your curls popping, skin good, eating healthy, done lost weight, and your ex always got a way to come back.
He did
and
mention
say
him.
something. This dude talking about her accent fake. She not really from Brixton.
I know,
sir.
Let
Please
it
go in the house and close your door and don't ever come out again.
Let it go.
You just need to move on. Y'all didn't even have a relationship. Y'all had a situationship.
You didn't even like her like that.
Right.
Unless you did and you just lied about it.
True.
Well, then that's your fault for not being open.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, here we go. Can't let that girl just be happy because she really riding her own coattails.
Well, as the old saying goes, misery loves company. Mm-hmm. And if you saw that, all of that, when you think about all the things she went through and whatever time frame this is, that it still didn't make her fall. Mm-hmm. Like it did not make her fail.
Yeah.
People can't handle that.
That is true.
And they will, they will build you up just to tear you down so that you can be down in the dumps with them. And it seems like that's where he wanted her to be. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you did, because people can twist stuff in their head. Well, you did this to me and you went with blah, 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 blah. And now I'm going to trash talk you so that you can be, so that people can see you for what I want them to see you for.
Yep.
But if the real version of you and people now see like, oh, hold on, this girl is real. Mm-hmm. All that stuff you talking is just a bunch of, hot air.
Yeah.
So then she goes back to Brixton to have her.
What accent was that?
Brixton.
I was like, that's a little Gaelic Irish out of you.
Okay. Well, it's over there somewhere. we'll say European, to do a show. I don't know what type of show this is, but the hairdresser is there
from the beginning.
And apparently mom called to check on Noni, and the hairdresser, I felt a couple ways about this one. I understood why she was telling her, like, what I saw was not a monster, just a mother that was desperate to do anything, for her child. But I'm like, ma'am, do you realize all the stuff that she did to her? Like, what you saw in the beginning, that may have been what will happen. But who she subsequently became was something totally different.
Because my thing is, you didn't see how she responded at the talent show. You were there. You sat right beside her.
Which I thought was interesting, too.
I did, too.
Well, I figured she would. She done stayed late, missed her sneaky link, with her
Not sneaky link.
with her boo thing. So, I'd been going to that dang thing, too.
Let me see if you can sing.
As good as your mama made this emergency seem like. So, like, while I understood where the hairdresser was coming from, it almost gives me like that, but that's your mama, those kind of vibes, how, because we hear it all the time from clients where they feel like people are pressuring them to stay in relationships with family that is unhealthy, because that's your mom. Well, that's your sister.
Then she should be better.
Yes.
If she want to be in my life, she don't get to abuse me.
True. Remember, she's the parent. I'm the child. I'm an adult child, but I'm still the child.
Right. So that's why, like I said, I feel a couple of different ways about it. And then I loved, of course, we got to have our Disney ending. That knight in shining armor, Kaz, showed up.
Yep.
He, again, conquered his fear of flying, probably by reminiscing on his first situation with flying.
He said it wasn't as memorable.
He did.
I bet it wasn't.
And tells her he loves her for real this time.
And I'm not taking it back.
I said, you better come over there with that cardigan on. Yes.
Profess your love. She said, I love you too back in this scene, this part right here, didn't she?
After she performed.
Oh, it was after.
I don't remember her saying it then.
Oh, no, she was shocked. She was just looking.
She was, yeah.
Like,
I finally got a real one.
He loves me. And she sings on stage her rendition of Blackbird. Of course, the crowd's going wild. Even though the wildness didn't seem to match the song, but it's all right, Not
the point.
But the crowd is loving it, and she bring her man on stage,
and forgot that the audience was there. I would too.
They was all into it. And then you see a little mini scene where it sounds like, I'm assuming the hairdresser is allowing mom to hear the concert and hear her sing. She seems proud. This is probably the one moment that slight redeeming quality of mom in this entire movie is that she seems proud of her for kind of finally, like, you're doing it your way. And like, you're going to be successful, like, because you're truly being you, and, you'll put all the efforts in.
Yep.
And then, she tells Kaz, Noni tells Kaz she loves him. And then she, stage dives for a little bit.
Tell that man, don't go nowhere. Where is he going?
Right. He all the way in the UK.
And that's it. The movie kind of ends with them, gazing into each other's eyes.
Yep. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was. It's a very sweet movie. While even it's a weird one for me, because while it's dealing with some heavy topics, it does it in a very light way.
Yeah, it ain't like watching Sparkle, the original Sparkle.
Yeah, it's not very like emotion heavy.
I like that it was a build into how you transition to being healthy, because even when she was in the interview, she did say that she had to make the decision to live and stop being a victim.
Yeah. And she was getting help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. So, yeah. How many stars would y'all give this one? Or how would y'all rate it?
I like the movie, so I would have to say like 4.5 to 5. Wait a minute, we doing 5 rates?
Sure.
5 stars? Okay, so I would have to say 4.5 to 5 for me.
I concur.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid 4. Yeah, because there was a couple of things and I'm like, but I would give it a solid. I definitely would give it a solid 4. I think it was a good movie. I think for what they were trying to do, they did a good job. Yeah,
I agree with that. And it had a pretty good soundtrack.
Oh, see, I've never heard the soundtrack, but okay. All right, well, there's another movie mental breakdown, guys. You know these are my favorites, so we hope you enjoy. As always, let us know what y'all think. Give us some feedback. Is there a movie that y'all want to see? Because we're definitely open to options for other different types of movies. We've been in the melanated genre a lot. So is there something different that, you think we should add into? So just let us know.
Must be this volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at The Recycled Podcast.
If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.